everybody, thanks for joining us again for another Facebook Live here at the Sacramento Zoo. Once again, this Facebook Live is brought to you by the Jiffy Lube of Greater Sacramento. We are so thankful for their support, and if you guys at home joining us would like to help support us, you can find our emergency fund on our website, saczoo.org. Now today we are celebrating Memorial Day, so we have some fun enrichment out for our otters. You may notice that there are no otters out just yet, but they are finishing up their snack in the back, and then we're gonna let them out when they're ready. I'm here with their keeper, Jasmine.
Hey guys.
Hi, Jasmine. So we did do a little bit of a themed enrichment for them, so it's barbecue themed, as you can tell. So what is enrichment? It just means we're giving them something new and different every single day so they can exercise their minds, do some physical activity. So this one's gonna entail them, finding those fish-shaped yam slices we have. We have some ice treats for them, and just the grill itself is new for them to figure out.
We also have some streamers strung up around the exhibit. Enrichment doesn't always have to be a positive thing. Sometimes it might be a little scary, which kind of mimics their natural behaviors in the wild. So they might be a little hesitant when they come out, but I'm sure once they sniff around and check it out, they'll say that it's not anything dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. So if we are all ready, we can go ahead and let the otters out. I'll let Jasmine go ahead and let our other keeper, Lauren, know.
Lauren, we are all ready.
So like Jasmine mentioned, sometimes enrichment can be a little bit scary, or they may not immediately go to it. So we are going to see what they do. We'll see, they might have noticed it. We do have two North American river otters here at the zoo. Their names are Kai and Jackson. If you guys have any questions about these otters for us, go ahead and put them in the comments, and we'll have keeper Jasmine answer them for you. All right. They're kind of slowly making their way over, checking everything out.
So we have Jackson in the front of that little log tunnel. He's a little bit larger than Kai, so males are typically larger than females. And you can also tell them apart by their coloration. So Jackson's really white, almost blonde in color, and Kai is more of the deeper brown.
Right.
There they come. Checking out the barbecue.
We'll see which one is the brave one first, decides to go for it. All right, so we already have one question coming in, and what is their favorite food at the zoo, Jasmine?
So their favorite food is definitely fish. Here at the zoo we feed them 3 varieties. They get some trout, herring, and smelt. Well, they'll also get occasionally anchovy and capelin too, I guess. And then we'll give them some produce, which sometimes they'll enjoy. They'll enjoy some pieces of carrots.
All right, looks like we've got them being a little brave. All right, we do have another question, and that's, how did the otters get to our zoo?
So the otters were brought to us from different zoos. Typically they're driven to us, or we pick them up at the airport, just like if you're picking up your relatives from the airport. So Kai here, that's at the picnic, she's from Oakland Zoo, which is pretty local to us, and Jackson's from Jackson, Mississippi.
All right. Okay, we have a question from Lucy, who is 7, and she wants to know how old they are.
Yeah, that's a great question. So Jackson, that just stole a piece of yam. He is 6 years old. He just turned 6 on March 1st this year. And Kai is 4 years old, and she turned 4 in January.
All right, cool. So once again, if you guys are just joining us, if you have any questions about our North American river otters, Kai and Jackson, put them in the comments below, and keeper Jasmine will get to them. We'll try to get to all of your questions. Oh, we have a very good question from George, who's asking, how often do otters eat?
So they eat pretty frequently. They have a very high metabolism. Here at the zoo, we feed them 3 meals a day, just like you would eat at home. And they also get snacks throughout the day too. So we'll feed them bugs, they'll get hard-boiled eggs, other miscellaneous pieces of food.
All right. Let's see if they decide to come back over to their picnic table.
And so you'll notice that they keep going back into the water. They love to bring their treats and toys in there. So North American river otters spend typically half of their time in water and half of the time outside of water. And if they come up, you guys can really see how well they are built for swimming. So they have that really elongated, flexible body. They have webbed feet, a very strong, flattened tail for propelling themselves in the water. They're also capable of closing their
Yeah, I think they can close their nostrils and their, do they close their ear flaps as
Yes.
well? Yeah.
And they also have a third eyelid called a nictitating membrane, which kind of acts as a pair of goggles, protects their eyes underwater and helps them see.
Very cool fun facts about otters. So we do have some more questions. So this one's really good, talking about just how social those otters are. We have somebody wondering, are there just 2 currently at the zoo?
Yeah, there are just 2, but in the wild they'll live by themselves, they'll live in pairs, and they'll socialize with other otters.
All right. So we do have another question. Are they nocturnal?
They are nocturnal sometimes. It kind of depends on season. Most of the time they'll be crepuscular, which is a fancy word for being active during dawn and dusk.
All right. Okay, another really good question is, how long can they hold their breath?
That is a great question. So I was reading, and there's evidence that they might be able to hold their breath up to 8 minutes, but typically these guys will hold their breath for anywhere from like 2 to 6 minutes at a time.
All right. Okay, and then we have another good question. Wants to know if they live in cold or warm water.
So typically they'll inhabit colder water. So these guys are found from the Rio Grande all the way up into Canada and Alaska along the coast, and all along the coast on the east coast. So they're going to be well adapted to whatever area that they're living in.
Awesome. Okay, and again, really great questions. If you guys are just joining us and you have any questions about these otters, put them in the comments below. We're going to try to get to everybody's comments. But this one is, how fast can otters swim?
So otters can swim up to 8 miles an hour.
8 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Pretty fast. Oh, we got him up there.
And they're excellent hunters in the water. They've got really nice, long, strong whiskers that help them find and detect prey. And those flexible bodies are going to enable them to turn really sharply so that they're able to catch their food.
Okay, another very good question about their swimming abilities. So we have somebody wondering how deep down they can dive.
I believe they can dive 30 feet, maybe more.
All right, pretty cool. So again, everybody just joining us at home, if you're just tuning in, we are doing this Facebook Live for Memorial Day with our North American river otters. We decided to give them some themed enrichment, so they're having a little barbecue cookout. They have some ice treats, or we might call them otter pops, and they also have some fish up on the grill. They're not real fish, they are slices of yam that we have cut in the shape of fish. And then they have some more slices of yam down here. This Facebook Live is brought to you by Jiffy Lube of Greater Sacramento. And again, we are so thankful for that support. And if you guys at home would like to support us during this time, you can find our emergency fund on our website, saczoo.org. We really appreciate you guys just tuning in and watching with us. These have been really great questions. Again, if you have any more of those questions, put them in the comments below. We're going to try to get to them all, but we may not get to your question, and I do apologize if we don't. We do have somebody asking, how old are they?
Great question. So Jackson, our male, he just turned 6 this year, and Kai, our female, just turned 4.
All right. Okay, so we do have somebody wondering, how do otters defend themselves against predators?
That's a good question. So their predators are typically going to be larger carnivores like coyotes, bears, sometimes alligators. So they're gonna use primarily water to get away from those land predators.
Yeah, we might be able to see if one of them decides to come on over again. You might be able to see they have some pretty long and strong claws as well, and obviously they have those really sharp teeth, so they have some good defenses against predators, and like Jasmine said, probably swimming away pretty fast. All right, so I don't know, we don't have... Oh, okay, so we have a good question from Rosie, who is 9, and she wants to know, are they related to the platypus?
That is an excellent question. These guys are not related to platypus. They are closely related to weasels.
All right. Yeah, you can kind of see, like Jasmine said earlier, those really long shaped bodies with that strong tail. You can see why they pretty similar to a weasel. We'll see if they keep going back into the water. They aren't too impressed with our fish-shaped yam so far. We'll see if they come over for some more things. If you can't see them in screen, they have been darting into the water and checking out their land on the other side as well.
So in the wild, these guys are eating fish, they're eating crustaceans, frogs, small animals such as birds and rats and mice. So the yam treats aren't particularly their favorite, but we thought we'd try them. They have been rubbed in fish juice. We thought that might have enticed them a little more, but they haven't checked them out yet.
All right, so we do have another good question. How long do the North American river otters live?
That's a great question. So in the wild, they can live 10 to early teens. The longest living on record is 27, so they can live into their 20s in human care.
All right. Okay, and so we have somebody else wondering, how long have they been at our zoo?
They've been here for, I want to say, probably three years or so. Not very long.
Yeah, so relatively new for us.
Yeah, they're a young pair.
So again, yeah, we want to encourage anybody, if you have questions in the comments, to go ahead and ask them. Otherwise, you know, we'll just focus on these guys as they explore around their enrichment. They seem to really not like their streamers. So they didn't like us redecorating for them, huh?
Yeah. So I'll tell you what my favorite thing about the North American river otters are. They are local. So if you guys live near rivers, streams, lakes, marshes, you might be able to see them. When I was in college at UC Davis, I'd see them swimming around the Arboretum all the time, and they're known to be great environmental indicators. So these guys are very sensitive to pollution and anything that is bad that gets into the water systems. So if the water quality is good, you might see them. If not, then they're probably avoiding that waterway.
Really good points, yeah. Otters in our water systems are really good indicators, and we love that we can showcase a native species that you guys might be able to see in your own, maybe not direct backyard, but our own backyard.
Yeah, maybe while you're hiking or celebrating Memorial Day.
Yeah, maybe you're having a cookout just like they are near some water. Okay, so Ellis, age 9, is wondering, how much do they eat?
So they eat probably around a pound of food here at the zoo, maybe a little more. And in the wild, it's kind of at their opportunity, right? So they have to hunt for their food. They're not as privileged as being able to just be fed meals 3 times a day here.
Okay. We have Sydney, who's 8, and she's wondering, what are their names?
Their names are Jackson and Kai.
So we'll see if they come a little bit closer again.
Yeah,
maybe
we'll
we can
out.
show you which one is Kai and which one is Jackson. So far they're just hanging out in the water over there.
Oh, here comes Kai.
Okay, so we have Kai up close.
Yeah, and she's a little darker brown than Jackson is, and she is a lot smaller than he.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and there he is. So you guys can maybe tell the difference.
Yeah.
See them right next to each other.
Here's Kai coming up close, checking us out.
Okay, so we have another good question of where and when they were born.
So Kai was born at Oakland Zoo on January 25th, 2016, and Jackson was born in Jackson Zoo in Jackson, Mississippi, which is why he's called Jackson, on March 1st, 6 years ago. So it looks like they are enjoying their yam fries. They keep taking it to the water. These guys love taking their treats and their toys directly to the water. We love giving them ice enrichments. So we'll make them little balls of ice, or they'll get blocks and they'll just roll them straight into the water and watch it disappear.
Yeah. All right, so again, if there's anybody that's just joining us, we are here with our North American river otters with some Memorial Day themed enrichment for them. If you guys have any questions, we'll try to get to those. I think the otters are pretty much wrapping up with their enjoyment of this enrichment. They'll keep coming back to it and checking it out as it goes, but we've definitely lost the initial interest, I think. They'd rather go play in the water, which is also a really fun thing to do on Memorial Day, so we will let them. Okay, let's see. So we have a question of, do they wash? Probably kind of related to sea otters and, you know, washing their fur and things like that. I know that river otters have that same double layer of fur. They have their guard hair and then their undercoat, but I don't think that they have to wash as much.
I don't think so. And if you're asking that question to where they wash their food, like raccoons might, where they take their food and kind of rub it around in the water, they do not do that.
Okay. Yeah, they might take their food over to the water in general, but they're not washing it like a raccoon would.
Yeah.
All right. So once again, if you guys have any other last minute questions, we'll try to get to them before we wrap things up. Again, this Facebook Live is sponsored by Jiffy Lube of Greater Sacramento, and again, we are so thankful for the support and your guys' support at home, joining us, asking these really great questions, still wanting to see our animals. And if you would like to support our emergency fund, you can find that on our website at saczoo.org. Doesn't look like we've gotten any new questions, so we'll go ahead and say goodbye to the otters. We'll say goodbye to Keeper Jasmine. Thanks for answering all of our questions.
Yeah, no worries.
And we'll let the otters get back to it. So everybody enjoy your Memorial Day, and we will see you again, I believe, on Wednesday for another Facebook Live at 11 a.m. All right.
Thank you.